Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast, and I'm making today's recording at home, so I expect to hear some noise in the background because it's a holiday, kids are home. Now, the goal of this podcast is solving business problems, especially problems related to sales and marketing. Occasionally, we talk about struggles in marketing, side hustles, career, other things that are holding your business back. If you'd love to subscribe, do so on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. And if you want to connect with me, you can do so by calling, SMS, or sending me a WhatsApp message on 080 Today on the show, I want us to do a listener question because it's been a while since I did that. And today's question is from Asa Matthew, calling in from Karshi in Abuja. Of course, he called in on the radio show, not on the podcast. So, his question threw up a number of things around how to decide or how to determine who to get into partnership with someone. And that's because in Matthew's case, Matthew, he's a photographer, like I said. And so he's the one coming with the skill and the knowledge. So when it comes to shooting, handling the camera, he's the one who knows how to do that. When it comes to editing the photos, he's the one who knows how to do that. When it comes to interacting with the customer, he's the one who knows how to do that. Posing the shots, he's the one who knows how to do that. Everything needed to be done to get a photography business going, Matthew knows how to do. The problem is, Matthew does not have a camera. Now, Matthew's friend wants to be his business partner, and Matthew's friend is going to bring in the camera, and he's proposing that they go into business on a 50-50 basis. So that was the backdrop to the question, and that was the question that Matthew had. So at the time, I think the question was more of, should I enter into partnership? Are these terms fair? Now, of course, you always have to ask more questions, tease out more of the facts before you can give an accurate recommendation or accurate advice. And we will get to that at the end of the podcast. But it got me thinking, apart from the advice that I gave him over on the air, I thought it would be a good idea not only to revisit it on the radio station, but also to revisit it here, because there are some of you who are about to start a business, or you've been in business for a while, you want to expand, whatever, and you think now is the time that I need to get a business partner. So how can we think through this in a very structured, in a very organized way, to make sure that we don't run into any yawa in the future? So we need to make sure that we think things through. Sorry, that's a tongue twister there. So, number one, the thing to consider. First of all, you need to define your needs, because that's what is going to determine who you're going to start chasing and what you are chasing after. So some people need startup capital, or some people need resources just to get this thing going. Is that the stage you're at? Some people are trying to do market expansion, and so they think they need a partner for that. Some people think they need to gain more expertise, in-house. So just go ahead and partner with someone. And it's a good idea, generally, that if you're going to go into partnership with someone, you should consider your own strengths and your weaknesses. And so you should be bringing someone into the picture who complements you. So if you're weak in one area, the person should be strong in that area. So like for me, for instance, not very good with numbers at all. So if ever I were to partner with someone, it'll be nice to make sure that I'm partnering with someone who is good with numbers and who is financially literate. So the person understands cash flow, how to read profit and loss, how to read account statements, blah, blah, blah. The kind of person that will be able to look at some figures and tell us that, look, oh boy, business is cracking on very well. Or, oh boy, business is suffering. Like, yes, we're charging million and million, but if you look at this item on the balance sheet, you will see that, we have some serious problem that we need to resolve. So in my own case, that's the kind of person that it would make sense for me to partner with. But you need to start asking yourselves all these questions. What do you need? Because it is your need that will determine who you will chase, or that will determine the kind of how I put it, the kind of deal that you would accept. Now, in this case, Matthew already has the shop. That one is sorted. He has already put down rent for the shop. Matthew already has the skills. That one is no, it's not a problem. He already has an idea about how to go after customers. But then all he's lacking now is camera. So truly, if camera is the only thing he needs, does that mean he needs to enter into partnership with someone on a 50-50 basis? Think about it. I'll give you my recommendations at the end. Then number 2, you need to vet your partner. Vet your partner just means you need to shine your eyes on the person. Shine your eyes on them very, very well. Open your eyes. So, first thing is, what's your own vision of the company? What is the other person's vision of the company? And then, is there any alignment between the two? Because you might be thinking, I want to grow a big company, multiple million naira valuation, floated on Nigerian Stock Exchange. The other person might be thinking, look, you know what? So long as we can build this thing, and at the end of the month, each of us is collecting 500K every single month. Your own share, 500K, my own share, 500K. I'm all right. I'm all good. If you don't have these sorts of conversations, people will quarrel in the future. Because you'll be saying, guy, we need to expand. Let's move. The other person will be saying, brotherly, why the rush? Relax. Where are you running to? Why are you recommending all these risky things? So sometimes it's not as if when you enter into partnership, the other guy is a bad guy or the babe is a bad babe. It's just that people did not discuss some of these things before you started. You were just thinking, I'm a friend, she's my friend, she's my sister-in-law, he's my brother-in-law, this, that. More they run am. Let's just enter. So what's the vision of the company that you guys have? The vision of the business? What is your own idea of business success? What is that person's idea of business success? Some people, if they're hitting 500K every single month, they're okay. They are cool. You, on the other hand, you might be thinking, 500K every single month. That means I'm only doing 6M in a year. But some of my classmates are doing 23M in a year. Those my classmates don't have any two head. How can I be happy with only 500K per month? You will need to have these conversations. Then, the skill set, your experience, it has to be complementary. In fact, this is something I can speak to first. My own, I experienced it. So this one is not academic. Early on in my photography career, I got involved in a partnership with my brother-in-law. Now, the guy is not a bad guy at all. And myself, I'm not a bad guy. But the thing is, we didn't have any of these preliminary discussions. And it ended up causing small misunderstanding. Because both of us were coming at it at a complementary skill set. I was looking at the fact that I'm a photographer. Camera is my thing. Now, my brother-in-law, he's also good on the camera. But the thing is, he is a wizard at Photoshop. I have seen him make somebody taller on Photoshop. He has made people shorter. He has made people thicker. He has made people slimmer. Women that are straight, he has given them waist. Men that are straight, he has given them V shape. Picture that was shot in Lagos, he has photoshopped them to New York, as in that kind of good. Wizard Photoshop. So when we talked about partnering together now, in my own mind I was thinking, correct. I know camera, you know Photoshop. So in my mind, that's how everything was going to go. But he didn't think so. Now, of course, when quarrel comes up, as it will in that case, you can see that it's not a matter of somebody is wicked, somebody is bad. No. People just didn't discuss. Because for me, at some point, I was now wondering, this thing don't make sense now. I'm a photographer, you're a photographer. Why should two of us be in the field now? It makes more sense that one person is in the field, one person is in the studio, editing all these things. So you can see that this kind of quarrel is normal. It can happen with anybody in different circumstances, just because we fail to have some very simple conversations. So your skill set, your experience, make sure it's complementary. So if you're a fashion designer, two of you have design skills, does it make sense? But if it's that you have design skills, the other person has construction skills, now it's making sense. Somebody can be designing the cloth, another person is in the shop with the tailors, making sure that everything is properly sewn together. Or somebody has all the technical expertise, another person has the business expertise. This is how we do merchandising. This is how we sell. This is how we put our things in different shops. Just make sure that you have complementary skill sets. Then, another one that used to cause quarrel is work ethic and commitment. Again, it's not as if one person is good, one person is bad. It's just different understandings. There are some people that will say, look, we're in business together, so 7:30 a.m. sharp, we must be in the office. Another person will say, 7:30 a.m. sharp, like for what? The reason why I left paid employment was so I can relax a bit. For me, I want to be coming in at 12:30 every day, sharp. Now, in that case, it's not as if one person is good, one person is bad, another person is wicked, another person is holy. No, they just have different expectations. One person is like, look, 7:30 a.m., we mean business, sharp, 7:30 to 6. Another person is saying, 12:30 to 6. If you don't have these conversations ahead of time, there will be quarrel. Because you enter into partnership on a 50-50 basis. At the end of the year, business is good. Maybe we generated like 40M. You are now splitting it 50-50. You will now be thinking, what the hell? I've been coming here 7:30 every day. This guy just casual. 12:30, he will just stroll in here. Why should this thing be 50-50? You see, quarrel will now start. Then, communication style and conflict resolution. You guys need to talk about these things as well. Some people have different communication styles. Now, after several years in business, I've become very, very direct, especially now that my skill set and my specialty in sales and business development is growing. So now I'm not afraid of saying, look, this and these and these are the issues. In my own opinion, I think these are the ramifications, and I really think we should sit down to solve these things. So, what do you think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I propose we do like this. Now I can have these conversations. Very, very frank. But early on in business, I wasn't that way. Like, take for instance this photography thing. It was my brother-in-law. That was my sister's husband. So, I was my younger sister's husband. So I was, there were some things I didn't want to. So the way I handled it could have been better. In fact, I own it. It is my own fault that everything went the way it did. Because some people now come and say, how far now? I thought you and Patrick were partners. What happened? Back then, my communication style, I just was not on the assertive and direct wavelength at the time. But we need to have this this conversation. So it's not as if one person is good, one person is bad. We just didn't have these conversations. So it happens. You're in business with someone, the other person likes to shout. Any small thing, the person will shout, shout, shout. But from their own point of view, the fact that they're shouting doesn't mean anything. That's just how they are. Some people are just loud. Trust me, some people are just loud. Like, if you come around my family when everybody's around, my cousins and, you'll notice that me and my brother were cool. We know they shout. You say your own, you keep quiet. But me and my cousins, especially the females, they are loud. Like after 3 hours, like I have a headache. Like I need to remove myself from the situation. And then sometimes it's contextual. Because when I met my wife, I was like, correct girl, very calm girl, very, level-headed, very everything. That was when, we were out of the country in Scotland, away from family dynamics. By the time we came back to Nigeria, I realized that my wife can be loud as well. Because when my wife is now with my female cousins, the volume, as in all of them, just loud together. So I remember the first time I was like, really? Is this the babe I married? So some of it is contextual. You're seeing somebody in one light. You don't know that in a different context, things are going to be different way. So you need to have some of these conversations. You know people's communication style. Because if you're somebody who likes to shout and quarrel, you're on the quiet end. Every day you just be chopping bile, chopping bile, chopping resentment, chopping resentment. And then one day you now explode and dissolve the whole thing. Your business partner will be wondering, where is all this coming from? Because you're normally on the quiet side. You've not been saying what's on your mind. The other person likes to vomit everything that is on their chest. So any small thing, they'll just be shouting, just para up and down anyhow. So you need to have these conversations about communication styles and conflict resolutions. When there's a problem, how are we going to solve this problem? When it's time to make decisions, how are we going to decide? Okay, we're in partnership on a 50-50 basis, but how are we going to be deciding what to do? Why we want to make website? How do we break the impasse? You say it's a good idea, it's a bad idea. In my own experience, experience in being in partnership with my brother-in-law, it was one of those things. He thought, let's do website. I thought, website, what the hell? We don't need it. Let's go out and look for a customer. How do you resolve that kind of dispute? Anyway, what happened is, since my brother-in-law was really good with computers, he just went ahead and made the website anyway. And then he now showed me the vision. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, bro, you know what? I see what you mean. And then we now started collaborating on the website. But we have to think about it. How are we going to make decisions? Is everything 50-50? How are we going to make decisions? Is it according to somebody's specialty? Okay, you're the one whose specialty is websites. So whether we have a website or not is up to you. Abi, your own specialty is accounting and stuff like that. So when it comes to financial decisions that have to be made, then everything is up to you. But we have to decide upon all these things before we enter into a partnership with anyone. Then we also have to do financial and legal due diligence. That means we're trying to make sure that everything is adding up. We need to make sure that 1 + 1 is 2. Not that 1 + 1 equals to greater than or less than -3. We need to make sure that everything is on point. Look at that person's personal history. Ask around. Ask people questions. I'm thinking of getting into business with Kelechi. What do you think? Some people say, Kelechi, good guy, blah, blah, blah. Some people say, Kelechi, are you sure? You know, say, come now. Like, okay, what do you mean, are you sure? Say, no, I'm not saying anything, but it's the same Kelechi that I'm seeing. Yes, it's the same Kelechi. Like, are you sure? Come now. If there's something, tell me. Say, no, I'm not telling you anything. When you start hearing things like that, you now know that, okay, maybe there's cause for concern over this Kelechi fellow. Ask around. His personal history. Financial history too, where you can figure out those sorts of things. There are some people who have been involved in partnerships with, let's say, 5 people before, and each of those partnerships, it ended because of money matter. It'll be nice to know some of these things before you agree that, okay, Kelechi, you and me, let's go and be in partnership. Then, the level of financial involvement or the level of financial expectation. This is also one thing we definitely did not discuss in the beginning. Not only when I was in partnership with my brother-in-law, but also when I was in partnership with my brother. It's just that, when you guys are brothers, at least in my own family, when you guys are brothers, it's a lot easier to handle some things. Well, 50-50, you drop your own, drop my own. If there was a problem, he would call me and say, look, this, that. And I'll say, no problem, I trust you. So that was different. And then also on some other dealings, it sometimes will be the other way around. Sometimes it will be that I'm the one who fell into the basic. And I don't have to call him and say, look, bro, you know what? That money, this and this and this happened. And he'll say, okay, no problem. These things happen. I trust you. So at least in our family, that was kind of easier to handle. But ideally, we should be discussing all these things. What is people's level of financial involvement? How much are we dropping in first? Then every week or every month, how much are we going to be dropping? On certain kinds of projects, how are we going to be financing these things? You need to define your roles and responsibilities very, very clearly. Who is responsible for what? Who is going to be doing what? Then it would also help if you have an exit clause or termination strategy, which is the answer to the question, this partnership, how will this partnership stop? That's one of the things that cause quarrel. We didn't decide in the beginning, so eventually somebody leaves the partnership and it's as if this person's departure was premature. And I think causes problem. Profit sharing, how are we going to be sharing the profit? Partnership agreement, is that one necessary? Some people say, yes, by all means, get a lawyer. But the thing is, whether you get a lawyer or not, so long as you are having all these conversations and reducing it to some written memo, you're better than people that have not discussed at all. And the thing is, if you have all these conversations ahead of time, by the time you now decide that, okay, let's have a lawyer, you will have a very fruitful conversation with the lawyer because the lawyer will already have answers to all these big, big, big questions. And then based on that, he will now be able to give you guys the best legal advice, at least because you have been having some of these conversations. Some partnerships have operating agreements. That would be a good idea as well. So there are lots of things that people have to look forward. I say look forward. That people have to look at and discuss with the other party or with the other parties before you decide to get into partnership with someone else. But these are some things to watch out for. This is my own personal, just as per my own experience, and then looking at, classmates, family members. So things to watch out for. Number one, narcissism, and then number two, risk appetite. I repeat, number one, narcissism. Number two, risk appetite. Narcissists, I don't know the correct psychological definition, but let me just put it this way. There are some people who believe that they know everything. They are correct on everything. Avoid those people. You can't be in partnership with that kind of person. No? The person who thinks everything he says or everything she says is correct. She can never make mistake. He is always correct. Those kind of people, avoid them because it's rough. Business is hard. It's hard enough as it is. Trying to look for customer, trying to start conversations with the customer, trying to figure out their needs, trying to negotiate, be pricing up and down. After people price, trying to deliver, trying to make sure that they're happy, trying to gain referrals, trying to get recommendations. All that is hard enough as it is. You now want to go into business with a narcissist, and every day you're busy massaging somebody's ego. That kind of life is hard. So if you feel as if you're dealing with a narcissist, he likes himself too much. She likes herself too much. They know everything. They never make mistakes. Just leave those people. There are some personality types that can deal with narcissists, but look, we're in business to make money. We're not in business to play psychological games. So narcissists, just leave them. Leave them. Let them go and partner with somebody else. Jump and pass. Then risk appetite. That's also really, really important. Like me, I'm a calm person. I cannot be in partnership with somebody who is, let's go, let's get this money, let's go. I like this money, and I'm chasing this money, but not on a very gra level. I like to understand where we're going. Let's come up with a plan. Let's execute this thing, put some consistency in the mix, and then let's make some money for sure over time. So like with the podcast, somebody who is let's go, the person will never make a podcast. The person will be like, what the hell are you doing here? You're sitting down with a microphone. Like, how is this thing getting us money? Let's go. Let's get this money, man. Let's get this money. But for me, maybe because of my background, I knew content marketing, very, very important for lead generation, if it's something you're able to do. And so I came up with a plan, and I've been executing. And then by the time we got to year 3, or let's say 3.5, I started getting paid consultations from the podcast. But from year 0 to year 3, to be honest, zero, no income from the podcast at all. 0 naira, 0.000 kobo from the podcast. But it wasn't a waste because at least I used to use the podcast to leverage and get speaking engagements. So whenever, like that first Smedan event that I did, if you're talking to organizers and then it comes out in conversation that, oh, by the way, you have this podcast, you've done like 250 episodes. I'm like, oh, okay. The boy is sharp. The boy knows what's up. So that's how I used to leverage the podcast early on. But now it does both. If I need a speaking engagement, like there's the Nigerian Innovation Society, Nigerian Innovation something, I can't remember. We are talking about their conference that should be coming up in September, October. I can't remember. But anyway, when we finalize everything, I'll let you guys know the details here. Especially if it makes sense and I'm going to be in Lagos, I'll let you guys know. So those of you listeners who are based in Lagos, it would be nice to meet you guys at the event. Even if you don't want to be at the event, at least knowing that I'm going to be there, who knows? You can time it so that if you come when the event closes, maybe we can all just say what's up. It would be nice to meet those of you who listen to the podcast. So that's the way that I prefer to run business. So somebody else with different risk appetite, or the thing will just won't work. Somebody who's looking for much more aggressive, risky, because like there's some of you who reach out to me on the podcast and you say, oh, you're doing crypto, you're doing this, you're doing this. In my mind, I'm thinking, where are you running to now? Where are you running to? Relax. Especially those of you who reach out to me, you're like 17, 18. I'm really thinking like, where are you running to? Crypto today, blockchain tomorrow. And, it's always one thing. And for some reason, always the very, very risky things. And in my mind, I'm thinking if you take all this hustle, you just calm down, look for something that is less risky, come up with a simple plan, be executing this plan every day. Yeah, it might take, 2 years or a year, but at least you be set. Instead of this whole thing of today, no risk, no reward. That's what some people say, no risk, no reward. You go and get 600K, no risk, no reward. And then you throw everything into crypto. And then what happened? Forget that thing. Now, multi-level marketing. Anyway, so, just know people's risk appetites. Just know where you're running to and where you're running from. Some of you are running from different things, and some of you are running to different places. You just know that you can't make this thing work. And then what else? Oh yeah, then also lack of complementary skills. Like me and my brother-in-law, the whole shooting versus editing thing. So I think if you avoid these big three, narcissism, God complex, I know everything, avoid those people. Risk appetite, people are running at the same pace. And then you will have complementary skills. It should work out all right. Now, back to Matthew's question now. Should Matthew enter into a business partnership with this person on a 50-50 basis? My own opinion actually was no. You've already got the shop and you've already paid 1 year. Congratulations, that's pretty good. Everything else that you need, you already have. You're the one that is even going to be doing the work. All this other person is bringing is the camera. Enter into 50-50 because of what? In the beginning, you will say, okay, but by the time you've been running the business for like 3 months, and let's say every single month you're bringing in let's say 200K, and then you're giving this guy, okay, after expenses, you're giving him 50-50. After a while, you'll be thinking like, I'm giving him all this money because what? Because I'm using his camera. There are other ways to finance your business, especially in the photography space. There are lots of people, my contemporaries, who got into the game by renting. So they learn how to shoot, with other people's cameras. And then when they have an actual job, they go and borrow. Like there are some of those guys. Hey, Tabishima, what's up? Do you have a job for so and so? No, I don't have. Guy, I beg, borrow me your camera. That happens. Or you go and pay somebody. Please borrow me your camera. I will pay you at the rate of, 20,000 per day, 30,000 per day. That also happens. That is one way that you get access to the equipment that you need without having to get involved in a 50-50 partnership. Then, if you follow the advice that I like to give, which is make sure you finance your business organically by using positive cash flows, by bootstrapping. So you work, profit comes in, remove small to flex, remove small to invest inside the business, and then keep some again, to save up for other expenses that you need. You can do that. Like the guy that I partner with for producing the documentaries that we currently produce. The last time we were out in the field doing a subject interview, the guy had one sweet microphone. And I was like, wow, this microphone is correct, it's bad. Like, how much did this thing cost? The guy told me 650K. I said, 650K? One microphone? I said, yeah. And you have 4? He said, yeah. I said, how did you do this? He said, I know, boss. I didn't just buy it once, so that I've been saving, small. So you don't need to raise, because it's 650K, you want four microphones. 650, that is 1.3, that is 2.6. You don't need to go and get 2.6 million from somebody and say people are in partnership on a 50-50 basis. You actually can be gathering the money small, and do higher purchase on the equipment, or small, and then just be depositing. Because there's one guy in Abuja who used to sell camera equipment that way. So you want to come and buy flash, studio lighting from him. The studio lighting costs maybe 350K, but right now you don't have 350K. He will say, no problem. How much do you have? You have 200. You say, no problem. Drop the 200, and this particular model I'll keep it for you. Nobody can buy it. As you're raising the money, just be dropping it. When the money is complete, come and carry it and go. If you change your mind, you come back, I'll give you your cash. So the guy used to do that. So that's one way that people used to buy stuff through him. So anyway, I didn't think it made sense for Matthew to get into partnership with this guy on a 50-50 basis, because they'll be quarreling in the future. He will think, I'm the one doing all the work. This guy is passive. All he has done is just give me a camera. And right now, I can even afford to buy multiple cameras myself. So why am I still in this partnership? Then quarrel will start. And then the other guy will now start calling him ingrate. Now look at this guy, Matthew. In the beginning, where were you? Who were you? What did you have? I made you. You are an ingrate. Is it not me? If not because of me, where will you be today? And then a perfectly good friendship is going to get destroyed, just because we didn't have clear conversations about these sorts of things. So those are some of my own random ideas. Random ideas about how to get into partnership with people, or the factors that we need to consider before we get into a partnership with someone. So that's it, and that's all. Remember, if you'd love to connect, you can call, you can SMS, or send me a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you next time. Same place, in your headphones or in your speakers.